tonight, a cross-country convoy of truckers passing through the GTA with thousands of protesters gathering to greet them.
No mandates, no passports, no lockdowns. We are done.
Making their way through the GTA en route to Ottawa to protest federal vaccine mandates, the so-called Freedom Convoy gaining momentum as people fill overpasses and parking lots to show their support. Plus, the price of gas in the GTA is set to reach a record high tomorrow with no relief in sight. And
we intend to take a phased approach to resuming some health services.
A surprise announcement, Ontario's top doctor saying some non-urgent surgeries will be allowed to resume as the province gets set to ease restrictions on Monday. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. Lining overpasses and packing parking lots. Thousands of protesters gathered across the GTA today to show their support for a convoy of truck drivers making their way to a rally in Ottawa. Now, what started as a protest against a vaccine mandate now morphing into something beyond that. Chris Glover with more.
For many, a day of political action started at Vaughan Mills Mall. Many bringing their kids as they show support for a demonstration against a recent COVID vaccination requirement for cross-border truckers.
This is incredible. This is awesome.
Trucker Dave Riddell was moved.
We never get any support, and when you see all these people come out, it just makes you feel so appreciated.
The group that organized the cross-country convoy expanded its original mission and picked up new supporters along the way. It's also calling on a federal committee to look at reversing all COVID-19 restrictions and vaccine passports.
My God, it's bringing a lot of people together. Unity is what we need in this country, not separation, right?
This has never been in Canada before, and it's a movement that will last a long time and will be talked about forever.
It's certainly being talked about today, even catching the attention and support of one of the richest people in the world, Tesla's Elon Musk. As the convoy traveled through Toronto, the largest sympathy rally was at the Keele overpass of Highway 401.
Stop taking away our freedom. Stop forcing this. I don't even want to call it a vaccine. Stop forcing this needle into us. We don't want it. We don't need it.
No mandates, no passports, no lockdowns. We are done with the bureaucracy running this country. We run this country, and you guys need to help us get our message out.
Some asking for the media's help.
You want to talk?
Get the out.
Yeah, don't spin it. Don't spin it. I'm recording it.
Others chasing the media away with threats and insults.
To make sure that they know not everybody on this side is a bad person. I'm a good person.
Scum. Get the
And I want to make sure that they know that we're not a minority. We're good people.
Kelly Starring was desperate to voice her concerns without aggression. The single mother fought back tears as she told me she lost her job with the City of Toronto last month because she won't get vaccinated.
My choice has lost my career. So now my government is going to decide where I go next.
All this emotion and anger is heading to Ottawa next to take their demands right to Parliament Hill. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, high gas prices also among the list of things some are protesting against. Here in the GTA, those prices are expected to hit a record high tomorrow, surpassing $1.50 a litre. The surge has some calling on the province to immediately cut the provincial gas tax, which Premier Ford previously promised. Dale Manukduk reports.
Tegan Seagrove is a carpenter paying upwards of $800 per month on gas.
From where it was last year at 78 cents, 80 cents to where it is now, it's out of control, right? Because, I'm not making more money at my job, what I'm doing.
And he's not the only one feeling his budget squeezed by record high gas prices.
Well, it's getting harder and harder to get by, you know what I mean? And stuff like this isn't helping one bit.
Obviously, the price of gas is something that impacts us all if you drive a car.
Unfortunately for motorists, it's only going to get worse, with prices in the GTA set to surpass record highs from the fall.
They're going up 2 cents tomorrow to $1.51.9, almost $1.52. And if that weren't enough, Saturday looks like another 2 cent increase to $1.53.9.
Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy, says the main reason is oil production is down globally, in part due to the pandemic.
Also, more importantly, a lot of producers can't get infrastructure. They don't have pipelines and they don't have capital. They don't have investment capital.
Meanwhile, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is holding Premier Doug Ford to this.
We're going to commit to making sure that we cut 5.7 cents off before the next budget.
That commitment was made on November 10th, but similar promises date back to 2018.
Governments at both the provincial and the federal level combined, that's adding roughly 50 cents to the price that you're paying at the pumps.
The Taxpayers Federation says the federal carbon tax is also responsible for the hike in price and could lead to $2 per litre by 2030. The 5.7 cents that Premier Ford promises to cut could mean $400 in savings for families.
That's at least 2 weeks of groceries for a family of 4. That could pay for, some time on vacation. We all know, for example, that inflation is going up dramatically. It's the highest level in 30 years. So all of our expenses are going up.
Premier Ford says he'll make the cut by March 31st. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
A surprise announcement this afternoon. Not only will restaurants, gyms, and movie theaters be allowed to open on Monday, the province's top doctor announcing some surgeries will also be able to resume. Lorenda Redekop has those details.
On Monday, the same day indoor dining at restaurants will be allowed again at 50% capacity. Some of those many canceled surgeries and other procedures will also be brought back.
We intend to take a phased approach to resuming some health services.
Some of the areas where services will return: pediatrics, cancer screening, private hospitals, and independent health facilities.
This does not mean all hospitals will immediately resume the surgical and procedural activities permitted.
The province says it's bringing surgeries back cautiously and in areas least likely to have a further impact on staffing. It comes on a day when COVID hospitalizations dropped by almost 400, though still at more than 3,600. ICU admissions are also slightly down. Before the announcement, 2 healthcare unions held a news conference. Their thoughts on if the government should bring back surgeries?
Not unless they deal with the staffing crisis. I mean, you've got burnt out registered practical nurses calling me on the weekend. The fact that they, are looking at non-clinical staff to help them with the crisis we're in now.
They want to see incentives to attract healthcare workers and help from the military or Red Cross. Another part of Dr. Moore's announcement: contact tracing at businesses will no longer be required. He says the focus will be on protecting the most vulnerable. Others should follow the guidelines to monitor themselves. And he had this message.
We have to learn to live with this virus, and we've let our lives be controlled for the last 2 years in a significant amount of fear. And now we're going to have to change some of that thinking.
And he predicts things will soon improve.
February, I do hope we're cresting and we'll start to decelerate on the health system impact. I do think March will be a much better month, and certainly by April, we'll be heading to that low rate of activity in the community.
But we're not there just yet. Today, the province reported 70 more people died with COVID-19, deaths that occurred in the past 19 days. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
Nick Cernkovich joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Nick, it's becoming a theme, another extremely cold day.
Yeah, extremely cold day, Calda, and we've got an extreme cold weather alert in effect from the city of Toronto. This as temperatures continue to drop through the overnight period. Now today, a lot of people telling me it was cold, and of course it was cold. The daytime highs at -4, but it gets a lot colder than that as a cold front moves through the GTA. That's happening through the overnight period tonight. In behind it, we've got clear skies. That's going to help to drop temperatures as well. And of course, we've got those northerly winds that are going to drive in behind the front, and that means colder weather on the way for the next couple of days anyway. The bright side of all of this is that we've got some sunshine in the forecast. Here's a look at the forecast for the next 24. -11 degrees through tonight. That's what you're going to wake up to. -20 is what it will feel like with the wind chill. And it basically stays steady tomorrow through the day at -11 with the wind chills about -20. There is more cold weather on the way as we head into the weekend, and then a bit of a warm up into next week. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a bit.
Looking forward to that. Thanks so much, Nick. A draft of new national standards for long-term care facilities has been released. One of the key recommendations deals with defining and protecting the rights of residents to live at risk. That would, for example, balance a facility's need to protect residents with the right of individual residents to receive visitors, a problem that became very apparent during the pandemic.
It was actually very disheartening to see that we did not get the balance right between keeping residents safe from a virus and separating them from their families. The outcome in many cases was detrimental to residents.
The draft regulations have been developed by the Health Standards Organization, is an independent, not-for-profit organization that develops standards and assessment programs for the health and social services sectors. The regulations are intended to give long-term care residents more control over their lives by giving them a greater say in daily care decisions and visitor policies. They direct long-term care homes to plan meaningful daily activities and facilitate social connections between residents, both inside and outside of facilities. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The genocide that killed millions during the Second World War continues to spark conversations that many argue are still needed today. As our Natalie Collada tells us, TDSB schools mark the day with a focus on reflection and education.
I am there in Auschwitz every time I talk about it.
Hetty Baum was 16 when she and her parents were loaded into cattle cars and taken to Auschwitz concentration camp. Within seconds of arriving, SS soldiers separated her from her parents.
I burst out crying. That's my mother. I want to go with her. And he held the rifle there and said no to the right. And I started crying and called after my mom. And I looked at her and she heard me. She turned. We looked at each other. And then after I don't know how long, she just turned away and kept on going. That is so deep in my mind and so, I think it was the most difficult moment of my life.
Baum would never see her parents again. They would become 2 of the 6 million Jewish people to be killed during the Holocaust. She now shares her story with students.
One of the biggest things that future generations specifically can learn from the Holocaust is that silence only aids the oppressor, which is what allowed Hitler to continue to oppress Jews for so long. And I think that learning about the gravity of the Holocaust and all of the horrific things that went on, it truly shows just how much of an impact that silence has.
It follows what the TDSB calls a proliferation of Nazi symbols and graffiti in schools.
And when we bring kids in and we say, you know, why were you involved in this? Why did you use those hateful words? Why did you scribble this? They just don't know. They don't know what it means. They don't know the powerful effect of the swastika, which is now a universal symbol of hate. And so that's why we need to teach them.
According to police statistics in Toronto, hate crimes are on the rise, with anti-Semitic incidents the most prevalent. It makes today's Holocaust Remembrance Day particularly poignant, but also provides an opportunity to break down discrimination of all forms.
But we take this learning and we apply it so that our students understand that there's no form of hatred that is tolerated in our community.
Lessons Baum hopes will continue to resonate by sharing her story.
If we're not going to learn how to accept each other's differences and how to live together in this big yet small world, there is no hope for us. So my only hope is that what I'm doing is something worthwhile.
Natalie Collada, CBC News, Toronto.
A film made by 2 former Mississauga High School students is making its debut today at Slam Dance, one of the biggest film festivals showcasing new independent filmmakers. A Therapy Dogs, written by Ethan Ng and Justin Maurice and directed by Ng, was shot during their final year at Cawthra Park Secondary School in 2019. The then 17-year-olds setting out to create an honest portrait of high school and teenage suburban life as they were living it. I met up with them to learn more. Ethan, Justin, congratulations on Therapy Dogs and Slam Dance. I think that's incredible. Tell me about what Therapy Dogs is about.
Therapy Dogs was a movie that me and my friend Justin made in high school.
It was something for us to kind of like figure out where our lives were going at the time. We used filmmaking to kind of like stitch together these questions of our lives, and we wanted to capture the teenage experience, warts and all.
We're gonna rip off the flesh of this school and see what really makes it tick.
It's the movie you all deserve.
Casting themselves as the main characters, the two set out to document their entire senior year under the guise of making a yearbook video.
Do you mind if we do some interviews for the end of the year? No, where are you guys going?
It all started with like a small Kodak that we would just walk around with.
Everybody knew me as the weird camera kid.
How much footage did you have?
Lots, hours and hours, like prom alone.
Because you didn't stop filming.
Yeah. Anything can fly off the walls when you're in high school, and I had to be ready for it.
And they captured it all, the joys.
Shania, won't you go with me to prom?
Along with the angst, insecurity, and search for self that comes with being 17.
So what's your goal going to be after high school?
That's a very good question.
You know, it wouldn't be a proper teenage movie without some immature decisions.
The film blurring the lines between reality and fiction, transitioning seamlessly between scripted scenes and real life.
Sometimes I go on Google Maps and just wander. I think a lot about the places I've never been. When we were making this, there was nothing really for us to hide behind. Like, you could say we were in character, but at the same time, we really were in high school dealing with these things. So yeah, it's really hard to answer like what's real and what's fake, but we want the audience to have fun with that.
Why did you call it Therapy Dogs?
Through high school, like your friends are kind of like this, you have this unspoken bond and you're changing and you don't know what's going on, and you know, they're there.
They're your therapy dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ethan submitted Therapy Dogs to the Slam Dance Film Festival a while back and had actually given up on hearing back when he got a call in November. The film chosen as one of 10 narrative features to premiere at Slam Dance out of more than 1,100 feature submissions from around the world.
Being able to call Justin and tell him that
I was ecstatic, yeah.
He called you right away, right?
And then I ran upstairs and I told my parents and I was like, yes, we did it.
You know, for a long time I feel like I let Justin down because nothing happened with this movie. And being able to tell him was like, it made my dreams come true. All of the students are super excited to watch this. I've even gotten like messages from Cawthra alumni years and years ago that are also excited.
What do you hope people who watch the movie take away from it? And how do you hope it makes them feel?
I kind of want people to like look at the characters and the struggles people go through in the movie and kind of try to see themselves in someone.
As soon as you graduate, you forget what it felt like. And I knew I'd forget right away. So I hope people watch this movie and, you know, they can kind of connect back with their 17-year-old selves, and, you know, maybe this movie can give that 17-year-old a little bit of a hug.
Now, due to COVID, Slam Dance is virtual this year. The festival opened today and runs until February 6th. You can get tickets at slamdance.com. And you're looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, cloudy with a few flurries tonight. Currently, it's -12 with that wind chill. Let's go back to Nick now. And Nick, it's cold and unfortunately only going to get colder as we head into the overnight.
Yeah, our weather headlines moving through tonight, of course, is the cold weather. We've got that extreme cold weather alert in effect from the city of Toronto. The good news in all of this, though, is we're actually seeing a warm up, but it's not going to come until next week. We'll show you that in the 5-day forecast. For now, though, it's all about the cold weather. Sky cover clearing out, still some flurries and some light snowfall in some areas down around the Niagara region. As this cold front moves through, though, we'll see clearing sky cover, and it's going to do two things. It's going to drop temperatures even more through the overnight period because a lot of that heat gets to radiate away, and then in behind it we've got these northerly winds where we've got colder weather, or that Arctic air driving into the GTA. Save for a little bit of high cloud cover tomorrow, we've got lots in the way of sunshine for Friday, and same story into Saturday as well. A bit of a silver lining in all of this when it comes to the cold weather. Unfortunately, in the wintertime, often sunshine equals colder weather, the two sort of go hand in hand, and this is certainly the case through the next couple. There's a look at the winds this evening out of the southwest, but as we move through the overnight period, they shift out of the north. That's as that front passes through. And then we're looking at winds slowly subsiding, but still holding on at about 20 kilometers per hour, and that's really going to drop the wind chills through the next 24. Down in southwestern Ontario, still some light flurries and some snow squalls down around London. Temperatures around -13, -14. Wind chills in the -20s. Tomorrow, wind chill again of about -20. Warms up a little bit more down toward Windsor, but again, flurries across the region. We'll see some good hints of sunshine in there as well. But better sunshine around the Golden Horseshoe for tomorrow. For tonight, though, we're looking at clearing sky cover. Temperatures down to about -11, all the way down to -16 out toward Oshawa and Markham. Wind chills in the -20s. Tomorrow, the wind chill of -20. Good deal of sunshine there in the forecast, but minus double digits. There's your wind chill values for the next couple. Look at tomorrow night, close to -20, and that's the actual raw temperature, not with the wind chill. Your warm-up, however, comes into next week with a high of 0 by Tuesday. Kelda.
We'll take it. Thanks so much, Nick. Finally tonight, members of Team Canada have arrived in Beijing along with their coaches and team officials. Major COVID safety precautions are in place at the airport. Workers outfitted in full PPE gear are screening and testing all new arrivals. The Canadian contingent arrived on a chartered flight that took off from Vancouver yesterday. It also included CBC's team of journalists who will bring you full coverage of the games. And CBC is the official broadcaster of the Olympic Winter Games, Beijing 2022. We will have special coverage of the opening ceremony on February 4th, next Friday. It will be hosted by the Nationals' Adrian Arsenault and Andrew Chang, along with Scott Russell of CBC Sports. It all starts at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on CBC Television. You can also stream it on CBC Gem and the CBC Sports app. And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.